All right, well, aloha. I'm trying out the live streaming here again. Today is March 20th. It is 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. And today I'm going to be talking about a live stream about Oahu versus Maui. Which Hawaiian island is the best? And so, of course, the reason why I'm going to be talking about that is I just came back on a couple trips from Maui and Oahu both this year, and so I thought I would share a few of my thoughts with y'all. I'm wearing my fantastic polo shirt here, Aloha style, and nice beads. I got this when I checked into the hotel in Maui. So I'll go ahead and go through kind of my agenda, and then I'll take some live Q&A. So if you have questions, feel free to toss them out into the chat, and I will answer them live. So before I get started, in the description of this video, I shared a couple of links to my Oahu travel guide and my Maui travel guide. So if you want to check out videos from either of those islands, you can find the links in the description as well. And I also want to advertise that coming up, I've got a few more videos about Maui. Having just come back from there, I've got a video on Mama's Fish House. I got a few recommendations to go there from people on Facebook and also on YouTube. When I said, where should I go in Maui? It is the best restaurant in Hawaii, so look out for that video. I've also got another video. I've got a new format that I'm trying out called Things I Love and Hate in Places. So I've got a Things I Love and Hate about Hawaii coming up. When I was in Maui, I went up to the top of the Haleakala Summit, which is the peak that's like a 10,000 foot elevation. So I've got a video coming out on that. From Oahu, I've got a video on cheap eats in Waikiki and things to know about going to Waikiki, and also a video review of the Sheraton Waikiki. So those are some of the things to look out for, and I also want to advertise that my next live stream will be this same time next week on Monday, so Monday 8:30 p.m. March 27th. So if you're watching this not live but you're watching it recorded, then go ahead and check this out. As a side note, an interesting thing about doing this live stream on YouTube and Facebook, I'm pointing at two different cameras because I've got an iPad for the YouTube stream and a phone for the Facebook stream. Facebook does this tall video. So if you're on Facebook, then you can watch me holding up these papers, which have some of my notes on them. But if you're on YouTube, then it's smaller, so you can't see it that way. By the way, if you don't follow me on Facebook, do that. It's the Yellow Productions page. You can find that in the links to most of my videos. I don't know if it's in this one, but I post pictures and things like that when I go on these various travels, including 360 pictures and things like that that I can't post up on YouTube. All right, so before I get into actually Oahu versus Maui, I want to talk to you guys about some of the different islands. And mahalo, Kent Custer. Thanks for joining. And this is great. If you guys have things to say or have questions as I go on, just shout them out because I can read them right up here on the screen, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to be holding up some of these things from various Japanese magazines that I pick up in Hawaii as visual aids, because I think they're a great way to represent stuff. So a lot of people, when they think about going to Hawaii, they think about often just one island, which is Oahu. Oahu is the capital island, but Hawaii actually has a number of different islands that you can see in these different island chains. And on these, wow, sorry, I've got that light set up. So the islands that they have, the biggest island in Hawaii is actually called Hawaii. That's the name of the island. That's this one down here, and it's often referred to by its name, Big Island. Big Island isn't technically the name, but because it's the biggest, people call it Big Island. The next biggest in size is Maui, and then there's Oahu, then there's Kauai, Molokai, Lanai, and then Niihau. And you know, my pronunciation might not be the best on those, but those are how I read them. So now let's talk about what's the most touristy to the least touristy. So the most touristy of these islands is Oahu, followed by Maui, followed by the Big Island, followed by Kauai, Molokai, Lanai, and Niihau. Well, that's a private island, so if you want to go to that one, you will have to know somebody to go there. So a couple other things I wanted to mention about the other islands. We'll get to Oahu and Maui in just a second. Big Island is known for the volcanoes on it. And good day, Daniel. Sorry to hear that it's rainy in Australia, but yes, it is probably sunny in Hawaii. So Big Island has kind of a, let's see, smaller population on Big Island. And where's my notes when I want them? Big Island has a population of 148,000 people. It has the fabulous volcanoes on it, and it grows sugar, coffee, and cattle. So that's why you'd want to check out the Big Island. Okay, I'm not going to talk any more about the Big Island. Another island is Kauai. Kauai is often known affectionately as the Garden Island. And it's called the Garden Island because Kauai is where Jurassic Park was filmed. So a lot of those famous jungle scenes that are in Jurassic Park are on Kauai. Kauai is a great island to go to if you really want to get away from everything, because Kauai only has 58,000 people that live on it, 552 square miles. All right, but the two islands that we're going to talk about primarily in this video are Maui and Oahu. Of course, I don't have a picture of Oahu, I just have a map of Oahu. But the interesting thing about the map of Oahu is Oahu is where the capital of Honolulu is, and Honolulu is Hawaii's capital city. A lot of people would think the capital city would be on the biggest island of Hawaii, but it's actually on Oahu. And Oahu is essentially, I'm going to say, a big city on this island. So the kind of people that would want to go to Oahu are people who like big bustling cities. And there's lots to do in Oahu. There's nature, there's shopping, there's entertainment. Oahu is also great because there's lots to do that isn't nature. So there's lots to do at night. There's a lot of nightlife, particularly in Waikiki. Things in Waikiki go until late in the night. There's, you know, happy hours, there's entertainment, there's restaurants. The shops in Waikiki usually don't close till 10 or 11 at night, so you can spend your days out on the beach and in nature and have a lot to do in the evening. Oahu, as an island, also has lots to eat, and the great thing about Oahu, and I often refer to Hawaii as the United States of Asia. Oahu has a lot of people who are from Asia, or a lot of tourists from Asia, and so there's a lot of really good Asian food on Oahu. Some of the also related to eating is there's a great variety in cuisine. So not just one type of Asian food. So although there's a lot of Japanese tourists that go to Oahu, it's not just Japanese food, but there's a lot of varieties of cuisine. And there's also a lot of varieties of price. So there's low-end food, and there's also high-end food. So now that we're here at 9 minutes, I'd like to just encourage any of you who are watching and think this is interesting to go ahead and share it with your friends. I'm going to go ahead and check in on Facebook down here and see if my live stream is actually showing up properly. I think it is, but okay, Oahu or Maui, which island is best? And I can actually see myself, so I'm just going to go ahead and also share this with another group right here. Share with not just me, but share with my friends. You know, and sometimes I put up a graphic that says, sharing is caring, and so I'm sorry when I type on this keyboard it rocks these screens a little bit, so check out the live stream. Oh, my typing shakes the screen. So check out the live stream going on now. All right, post. So, all right. So back to what's great about Oahu. In addition to having lots of great food, there's lots of hotels in Oahu. And hey, Dustin D, that's awesome that you'll be in Kauai and Maui in 5 days. And we go over a year. So maybe you could tell me what you like about Kauai compared to Maui. I'll give you my thoughts when I get to the Maui one, but I'd like to hear what your thoughts are too. So on Oahu, Oahu has lots of different hotels, and it has lots of different hotels in various price ranges. So there's budget hotels and there's high-end hotels, and you can find them throughout most of Oahu. Most of the hotels are concentrated in Waikiki, and of course the ones that are along the beach are going to be the most expensive. You'll be spending maybe $300 or $400 a night for the ones that are along the beach. But you can stay inland a couple blocks, and those will be less. You can stay over by the airport, that'll be even less. Or if you prefer something a little more rural in Oahu, then you can go up to Ko'olina, which is where the Aulani Hotel is, or you can go over to the North Shore, which is kind of an undeveloped area. And I'm looking for my Oahu map. And so on this map, kind of down here in Oahu, Daniel Gardner says he loved the Big Island, so much diversity, beach, forest, farms, mountains, and snow. Yeah, the Big Island is famous for having almost everything. It's one of the I think the only places in Hawaii that gets snow somewhat regularly. Sometimes Maui gets snow, but it's not super approachable. Hey, and I have a question to all you out there. When I'm holding this text up, when I look at it, it's backwards. When you guys look at this text, can you read it? Is it reversed or is it forward? Let me know so I know if there's something odd with my stream or not. That just might be the way it shows it to me. So on Oahu, the airport kind of over here, Waikiki is over this way, Diamond Head is over here, and then the North Shore is up in this direction. And Ozzy Carnot says the other half wants to go to Hawaii but hasn't been able to visit. Any tips for less touristy areas? So I think when we get to Maui or Kauai or Big Island, those are definitely less touristy than Maui. So you'll probably like that converse. Less touristy than Oahu. Maui's less touristy than Oahu, and the other islands are even less touristy. Molokai and Lanai. One of those islands was recently purchased by the CEO of Oracle, and it's a private island that also only has 2 hotels. And so if you're looking to really get away from people, you can check out a couple of those islands because there's very few people that are actually there. Okay, so other great things about Oahu, and sorry, let me take a drink here. Okay, Daniel, thanks for letting me know that the map looks okay. I'm glad. The last time I did one of these live streams, I was using a different streaming app, and a lot of people said that the text was backwards or inverted, so I'm glad I got that fixed now. Okay, so next on the list, again back to Waikiki. I often call Waikiki and Oahu Las Vegas by the sea. So it's this super busy main road. They've got light up torches, they've got lots of traffic, they've got lots of stores, they don't have casinos, but you won't be bored in Waikiki. But it's busy and bustling. It's also kind of like if you've been to Tokyo to Ginza, where the high-end shops are. It's also sort of like Ginza by the sea. Other things that are great about Oahu is there's lots to do that isn't in the sun. So if you're someone who doesn't like to be out in the sun or don't like to go to the beach all day, then there's lots of other activities to do. I think other great things about Oahu is there's pretty easy snorkeling in Hanauma Bay. Hanauma Bay is one of Hawaii's big destinations. And Jihan Song asks, how far is the airport from Waikiki? So the airport from Waikiki, and this is saying poor connection, so I hope my stream doesn't degrade or end. But the airport from Waikiki is about 6 miles, and the 6 miles in a taxi can take somewhere between 20 to 45 minutes. And it's coming up and saying bad connection now. I wonder, can you all still see me? hopefully you can. I'll close my laptop to try to end this stream here and hope my connection improves. Again, this is the first live stream that I've done using the new YouTube app, and so it's sort of interesting to see what these different notifications are. So the airport's pretty close to Waikiki. Like I say, it can take between 20 minutes. Okay, Ozzy, cool. Thanks for letting me know it's all okay. Between 20 and 60 minutes. So if you're timing your flight to get there, try to get in around noon or 1 p.m. Because if you're getting in around 5 or 6 o'clock, you'll find that taxi ride to take you quite a while. And that's actually one of the things that isn't super great about Oahu, because it's so popular to live, popular to go. There's so many people. The traffic in Oahu can be really, really super awful. So do plan for driving in Oahu to be slow because of all the traffic that's there. I think another thing that's great in Oahu is the Polynesian Cultural Center. And there's a lot of people that say the Polynesian Cultural Center is too touristy and not authentic, that there's a lot more authentic luau's. But I think the Polynesian Cultural Center offers the best nighttime show in Oahu. And by best nighttime show, I mean, it's really a show. They've got fire dancing, they got lights, they got music, they've got everything. The luau isn't super authentic, but the show is awesome. And the Polynesian Cultural Center is on the other side from Waikiki of the Oahu, so it'll take you about an hour to get there. It can be a little bit expensive to go, but I really recommend it as a place. Okay, so let me hit this thing here. Show live chat, hide live chat. Okay, I saw a chat message, and but now I can't see who said it because I can't get it back. But there was a question on why is there such a large homeless population in Oahu versus Maui. And you're right, Oahu does have a really big homeless problem. Waikiki has a lot of homeless people that beg. There was this beggar last time I was in Waikiki, and actually I've seen him every time I've been in Waikiki. I've been in Waikiki like every year for the last few years, and there's one beggar. He doesn't like go away. He's there all the time. He's like a professional beggar, and he's the kind of guy who asks me for like, "Hey man, can I get $1?" And I'll be like, "Sorry man, I don't have $1." And he'll be like, "Sorry, what? I mean, do you think I should just go ahead and die or what?" But I mean, this guy actually dresses very nicely, and I'm not sure if his aggressive tactics really encouraged people to give him any more money, but did not encourage me to give any more money. Okay, so other couple things that are interesting about Oahu is it is the island, or Honolulu as a city, is the only city or place where there is a royal palace in the United States. And so that's pretty cool if you want to go and say that you've actually been to a United States royal palace, because there's a Hawaiian palace on Oahu in Honolulu. So that's something you can check off your bucket list. And then the final thing, if you are one of my Japanese subscribers or Japanese followers, you'll definitely want to go to Oahu, because lots of things in Oahu cater to Japanese. There's like Japanese-only tour groups, there's Japanese right, language maps, and actually the maps and magazines that come out in Japanese are the best ones that are out there in Oahu, and often the coupons that I get for a lot of the restaurants I go to, I pull out of the Japanese magazines, because the coupons in the Japanese magazines are better. And I love like how detailed the maps are, and like looking at this map, you know, there's all these different things that'll tell you all these great places to eat and things like that. And even if you don't read Japanese, there's enough English that you can pick out some of these interesting things. Okay, so those are kind of the good and sort of the bad things about Oahu. So now let's go ahead and move on to Maui. And so Maui is a much smaller island in population. And so here, let me tell you those population numbers for Oahu. So Oahu has 876,000 people. And Nelson Santos on Facebook says hello from Taiwan. Thank you for tuning in, Nelson. And glad you could join us. And Joshua, thanks for sharing the video. I appreciate it. As I said, sharing is caring, and thank you for sharing, Joshua. So Oahu has a population of 876,000 people, and Maui has a population of 117,000 people. Oahu is smaller. It is only 597 square miles, but Maui is 727 square miles. So Maui is a bigger island with an eighth as many people. So that is a bigger place, lot less people. And so Maui is a great island to experience more of the nature. And I love this Facebook live streaming to see these little thumbs fly by. It's kind of cool. I think Facebook has done a better job of making the live streaming a fun experience. But I'm glad the YouTube one works too. And so some of the things that Maui is known as the Valley Isle, and it's famous for producing sugar, pineapple, cattle, and horses. Dustin, thanks for your opinion on Kauai being beautiful. I agree, and I wish I could see this. Ozzy, cool. Thanks for the notes on Maui. So I think Maui is really great for having a relaxed vacation. So I said in Oahu, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do all the time. Maui is a lot better if you want to go to the beach and have the beach by yourself. Bigger island, more beaches for just you. Waikiki and Oahu, really, really busy. Packed, tons of people. And in Maui, you can really find a secret beach that not everybody can find. I love on Facebook to just see a little heart fly by. So thank you for the heart. Maui's a great place if you just want to go and you want to lay in the sun all day. Or maybe lay in an umbrella and not by the sun. Maui's a great place to watch the sunset. And it's not to say that Oahu is not a great place to watch the sunset, but Maui does not have the same nightlife that Oahu does. Almost everything in Maui, like a lot of the stores and shops, close at 6 o'clock. And if they don't close at 6 o'clock, they close at 9 o'clock. There is like nothing that's open at 11. Maybe with the exception of things in Lahaina, which is like this little town. And so Electric Rick asked the question, what is the best time of year for a visit to the islands? And so I think some of the best times of year to visit the islands are, they sort of have a different busy season and shoulder season than I would say the rest of the continental U.S. does. But October and November, September, kind of the slowest months. When kids go back to school, then there's not a lot of people going to Hawaii. Hawaii starts to get really busy once it gets cold on the East Coast. So in December, January, February, which are often good times to travel in the U.S. to places like New York City and things like that, those are sort of bad times to travel to Hawaii because they're going to be busy and they're going to be expensive. October is also generally one of the cooler months. And Dustin C. says December to April is whale season, so he recommends that. I would actually resonate on the whale season when we were in Maui just a few weeks ago. There were a lot of people sighting whales. You could see it on the beach, so that's cool if you want to go whale watching. So back on the side of Maui, what's it great for? It's great if you want to have relaxing dinners with wine. Maui has a lot of really high-end restaurants. Maui does not have a lot in the way of cheap eats. And I would say that Maui actually doesn't have as much delicious cheap eats as Oahu does. Oahu has a lot of pretty good food that you can get for cheap. Maui, even the cheap eat places are going to be, $10, $15 a person. So the price is a little bit more. And then in a lot of the high-end hotels that are in Wailea, they have a lot of really fancy sit-down restaurants. One of the videos that y'all will see coming up is the Mama's Fish House that I have, which is best restaurant in Maui, best restaurant in Hawaii, and it's pretty good. So Jake asked, does Maui have good public transportation? And Jeffrey asked if I've ever had a good burger at Cool Cat Cafe. I did not eat at Cool Cat Cafe. I did walk by it. My favorite burger in Hawaii is at Teddy's Bigger Burgers. They recently opened one up in Maui. It's in my Best Cheap Eats video in Maui. I love that you can get a burger there with pineapple on it, because I love the pineapple in Hawaii. And I also like that you can get peanut butter and Cajun seasoning. So that's the burger that I get there. And Joshua Pickles says, anytime after December 15th is horrible because school is out and all of the tourists show up. December 1st to 15th is the best time. So that's a good tip. Thank you, Mr. Pickles. I appreciate it. So there was a question on public transportation Maui, and then Norma asked a question about Hana having a nice place to stay over. So I'm going to get to the public transportation first, and then Hana having a nice place to stay over. And if you're wondering why I'm pointing like this is where I have my camera for YouTube, and this is where I have my camera for Facebook. So Maui does not have good public transportation. If you are going to Maui, you pretty much need to rent a car. The public transportation in Maui is really quite poor. Oahu has a pretty good bus system. You can take the bus around, and Oahu also has like a lot of guided tours, things like that, so you can take a tour to different places. Joshua Pickles also says, Costco is right by the airport. Stock up before going to your hotel. In Maui, you're right, Joshua, it is right by the airport, and it is a great place to stock up. That Costco right by the airport is the cheapest place to get gas in Maui. You're right, best gas prices. Oh my gosh, we are like on the same wavelength. Okay, like button. All right, and totally give you a pound, virtual pound. And Costco is also a great place to like get a cheap meal at the food court on your way to the airport in Maui if you're leaving, because the food at the airport's really horrendous. There's also a Zippy's, which is a good place to get Hawaiian plate lunches and things like that by the airport. Okay, question from Norma was, does Hana have a nice place to stay over? Norma, there are two hotels in Pound. Nice. There are a couple hotels in Hana. One of them is actually quite nice, and I would recommend to you, and a lot of the people that have done the drive to Hana say, definitely drive to Hana, stay there, because if you really want to experience it, then it's best to experience it that way. If you drive in the same day and drive back the same day, then basically you'd spend a whole bunch of time driving, because the drive to Hana, like if you're staying on the Kaanapali side of the island, can take 4 hours. So you figure 4 hours driving in the morning, 4 hours to drive back. You spend 8 hours of driving and not a lot of time enjoying or relaxing. And really a big part of the drive to Hana is like exploring all the little things along the drive, stopping and like seeing a waterfall, stopping and seeing this beach that people don't see, and really just exploring and having that relaxed kind of life. And that's really, I think, what Maui's about, is having that relaxed, slow vacation. You know, Hawaii, I think one of the great things about people in Hawaii is they're super friendly. Things are a little bit slow, so people relax. Landscaper Ben says, I'm going to Hawaii this year with my wife. We're flying to Melbourne. Is 2.5 weeks there too long? You know, if I had a comment for these people on YouTube, it would be that I'd love to see the chat things come up. 3.5 weeks. Not there. Landscaper Ben, are you going to just Oahu or Maui, or are you going to different islands in those 3.5 weeks? Let me know, and then I'll answer those questions. Joshua Pickle says, don't stay at the Treetops Hotel in Hawaii unless you like to use an outhouse. That's a good tip. That's probably not the best place to stay. I don't really like to use outhouses, so I don't think I will be staying there. Okay. So, while I wait for the answer to, what's the name of the hotel I recommend in Hana? Boy, that is a great question, Norma, and tell you what, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I will, I'll leave it on my Facebook page as a comment on this after this is done, and I'll let you know, because there is one that's a pretty good one in Hana. So, just kind of the final conclusion that I'm going to make about Oahu versus Maui is that Oahu's really good if you want to go to a big city. Okay, I'm going to pause and answer Landscaper Ben's question. So he's going to be going 3.5 weeks to different islands, but Landscaper Ben has heard that it's hard to get to different islands because there's ferries and planes and things like that. And Landscaper Ben, that's awesome. Thank you for loving the videos. Thank you for tuning in. I actually like to thank everybody for tuning in because it's awesome that amongst these YouTube and Facebook, there's about 15 of you for a Monday night. I think that's pretty great. And thanks for all the questions too, because this is a lot more interactive than my typical videos, which I just stand and talk to myself and hear my own voice. So, if you were going to go to like all the Hawaiian Islands, I mean, I don't think that 3.5 weeks is too long. I mean, I've spent on a vacation, like I spent a week in Maui. I think you can easily spend a week in Oahu. I think you could spend, 3 or 4 days in Kauai. I think you could spend the same amount of time in the Big Island. I think if you spend that amount of time, you can really take it slow, you can enjoy. And I also kind of understand that a lot of folks from Australia, because y'all are far from the rest of the world, that you want to go someplace for a long time. And so I think you'll be okay with 3.5 weeks. I mean, there might be some people that would tell you, oh my gosh, that's too long. But if you really want to explore each of the islands pretty well, I think you can easily find that much stuff to do. And certainly on Oahu, like I say, I can spend a week there and not see everything and not eat everything too. So I think you'll be good with that. But related to ferries and flights, so a lot of the flights to the different islands kind of go from Oahu. So Oahu is often a central kind of hub, and then you can fly to the different islands from Oahu. From Maui, there are ferries to Lanai and Molokai, which are two of the smaller islands that are near Maui, but there aren't really ferries that go to the different islands. And Joshua Pickles mentions that there's also flights up to the little airport by Lahaina, so that's certainly something to check out, that if you're flying inter-island, you don't necessarily have to fly into the big airport in Maui, but you can fly up to Lahaina if that's where you're staying up there. That's a good tip. And Daniel Gardner says he would spend 3 to 4 days in Oahu for food, and so 3 or 4 days on food, but could spend weeks on the other islands. Yeah, and I think it's just one of those things that depends on what you like, and but I agree with Daniel. Oahu is really great for the food, and the other islands are really good for relaxing. And I think related to cost, right, that's one of the problems about Maui Bikini Blonde or Kona Longboard for beer, asked Jeffrey Zook. That's a great question, and I would say I am more of a teetotaler. I'm actually drinking iced tea right now, so I'm not the best expert to tell you what the best beers are. You might find in some of my European videos that I'll be drinking beer in them, but that's generally because in Europe, beer is cheaper than water. So, Joshua Pickles also says that Waikiki is the Miami Beach of the Pacific, and that's a really good description of Waikiki. It's where you go if you want to be seen. You land on the beach and there's tons of people. But I think one of the good things about Waikiki or things near there and on Oahu, you can find some actually pretty good hotel rates. You can find hotel rates that are $150 a night, and some of the slower seasons that aren't too bad. Landscaper Ben asks, what wouldn't you miss if you went to Hawaii for the first time? Okay, that's a great question. So I think, number one, from a food perspective, I would not miss eating garlic shrimp in Oahu. And if you check out my Oahu playlist, which on the YouTube side should be in the description, if it's not, you could go to my channel and you could find the link to it. But there are these food trucks on the North Shore, and there's this really delicious garlic shrimp food truck. I would definitely have the garlic shrimp food trucks. I would go to the Polynesian Cultural Center. I would see the nighttime show. I would go to Hanauma Bay on Oahu, and I would snorkel. South of Waikiki, I would climb up to Diamond Head, and that's like an iconic hike in Oahu. So those are some of the things I do in Oahu. A couple more things in Oahu. There's the Pali Lookout. I've got a video on the Pali Lookout. It's a great scenic lookout. And Electric Rick says He loves the beads I'm wearing. It almost looks like I have long braided hair. All right, that's cool. These would be cool dreadlocks. I got these beads when I was staying at the Andaz Hotel in Maui. And at the Andaz, they give you these beads, and they give you, if you're a guy, they give you beads. If you're a girl, they give you a flower lei, which is pretty neat. So that's what I would totally do in Oahu. On the side of Maui, what I would do is I would visit the Nakalele blowhole. And actually, if you check out my, and Gabe says they're kukui nuts. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name, but they are absolutely kukui nuts. And Joshua Pickles says you could buy a disposable hibachi at the grocery and grill fresh fish on your balcony. Buy coleslaw and bread. That is an excellent suggestion too. Almost every hotel in Hawaii has a balcony. Though, of course, the funny thing about a balcony is if you're in Hawaii, they don't call it a balcony, they call it a lanai. And so you could do some grilling on your lanai, which is a cool experience. And Landscaper Ben says he's going to start up a podcast, and would I ever want to come on it? Absolutely, Landscaper Ben. I would love to be on your podcast, and so would Topher. I don't have him here right now, but I will ask him. I can almost guarantee that if you have some bamboo, that he would love to eat it. And Joshua Pickles also mentions that you can get Visa gift cards at the Longs on Maui, and probably an inside comment about Visa gift cards, but that's a good tip too. Ozzy recommends, it says Topher's a boss. Topher is pretty awesome. Okay, so on Maui, like I said, I've got 2 travel guides, one on West Maui and one on South Maui, so you can check out some of the things that I kind of recommend to do in there. The beaches that I like best in Maui, like if I'm you and I'm staying in Maui, I would recommend you stay in South Maui and not West Maui. West Maui is where there's Kaanapali Beach and Lahaina. That's the oldest part of Maui, but I don't think it's the nicest. South Maui's the newest part. Wailea has the newest resorts. There's the Grand Wailea, there's the Andaz, there's the Four Seasons. They are on the pricey side. There's like a residence inn that's a little bit inland, and you can stay there for fairly couple $100 reasonable rates, but those are some of the best beaches in Maui. So I'd really recommend if you go to Maui, you stay in South Maui, enjoy some of those great resorts that are down there. And then also in Maui, I'd recommend going up to the Haleakala Summit, which is this 10,000 foot summit. A lot of people go up there for sunrise and sunset. You can go there in the middle of the day, which is what we did because we didn't want to wake up super early in the morning, and it's this really neat landscape where like very few things grow, and it's like a moonscape, and it's a couple hour drive to get up there, but if you're going for like 3 weeks, then you got plenty of time to go up to the top of that summit. I will caution you on the drive to Hana, and there was a question on Facebook about it earlier, was if you get car sick or your passenger gets car sick easily, then think again about the drive to Hana, because it's a windy, twisty road. And Landscaper Ben says he'll get in touch when he has the podcast up and running. So that's awesome. Sounds good. I'd love to be on it. Che Santi asks, can you feature again Singapore and Taiwan? So I have 2 answers to that question. I think most of my Singapore content I've pretty much edited and uploaded. I'm planning to do a just sort of a what are the new things to do in Singapore in 2017. I haven't edited that one yet, so when I get around to it, I'll upload that. I do have some videos from Taiwan that I've shot on some of the previous trips that I haven't uploaded yet, so those could be some to do. I have a lot of Singapore content because I often go on mileage runs to Singapore. Singapore is like the farthest place you can go for the cheapest. Often from like LA, we can get to Singapore for $600 round trip, or maybe even $550, and that's worth 17 or 18,000 United frequent flyer miles, which is really great to give me that status boost at the end of the year. That's why you often see a lot of Singapore content. So if I go to those places again, I'll definitely make some more stuff. But Taiwan, I can dig into that archive and get a few more night market videos out probably. Joshua also recommends. For some fun to have on the weekend in Maui is to look at open houses and see how the locals live. And I'm sure there's 2 comments on that. There's probably the houses and timeshares where maybe the the people that are sort of wealthier have, and then there's probably people that are locals that are definitely more local. He also recommends to look at the local newspapers online, to look for restaurant online coupons, look for restaurant gift cards at Costco. Those are great tips. Landscaper Ben asked me what my day job is and why I spend so much time in Asia. My day job is managing software development projects. And actually, a lot of the time I spend in Asia, believe it or not, this isn't all for work travel. I do a lot of personal travel too. Those Singapore trips are personal trips. A lot of the Taiwan trips are personal trips too. Japan are personal trips. And so I enjoy going to Asia. I find Asia is a lot more different than Europe from the U.S. And also from the west coast of the U.S. The flights can often be pretty cheap to Asia. I enjoy going to Japan because things are clean, the trains are efficient. Same with Singapore, same with Taiwan. I find those are places that you can go that are actually pretty inexpensive, and people often think they're really expensive, but I find them not to be, and often find Europe to be a more expensive destination. Daniel Gardner gives a Hawaii tip. And it was, think about how much luggage you have before hiring a Jeep. Jeeps don't have much space in the back. And that's a really good tip. You know, I noticed two of the most popular rentals, you're right, Landscaper Ben, Asia is cheap also. Two of the most popular rental type cars in Hawaii, I find, are Jeeps and convertibles. And those are both two things you should absolutely think about or think again before renting. If you have a lot of luggage or you want to stow luggage away in a trunk, then you want a car. Hawaii has a lot of petty theft. And a colleague of mine said that he had some luggage in his car in Oahu. He went to this beach to go snorkeling. He was out looking at the beach, 50 feet away from his car, and 4 people pulled up in another car, popped the doors open, stole all his stuff out of the car. When he called up the cops, they said, "Yeah, that's too bad. They're sort of professionals and they do that all the time. So don't leave your stuff in your car next time." So if you are going to have luggage with you or anything valuable, make sure you have a trunk. And convertibles and Jeeps don't have big trunks. And I think on the convertible side, my opinion, I would not get a convertible because Hawaii is usually really hot and humid. And air conditioning is really pretty nice. So I actually like to be in an air-conditioned environment. And Mr. Pickle said if I tell you my day job, I would have to kill you. So I don't want to kill anybody. So that's pretty funny. Okay. So on that note, we're getting up to about the 45-minute mark. I'll go ahead and just ask if there's any other questions before I go ahead and wrap this up. Landscaper Ben says that July and August is expensive, but he has no other choice because that's when the holidays are. I think if you book your hotels or things like that out now, then, it might not be too bad. And you're right, if you don't have a choice, then just lean into it and go. I mean, my theory is whenever you can go on a vacation is a great time to go. One of the things that might be an inside comment with the Visa gift cards with Joshua, and I don't know if you can get this card being in Australia, but Citibank has this new credit card they call the Citi Prestige card. You get the 4th night free in a hotel. I use that a lot in Hawaii. It's pretty good. Jeffrey Zook asked, are kitchen service charges common in Hawaii? Kitchen service charges are typically not that common in Hawaii. It's sort of more the, American concept of, leave a tip. 15%, something like that, 20%. I will say that in Oahu, some more of the restaurants I've been seeing there have been just charging a service charge. There's one of my favorite katsu places in Waikiki charges like a 10 or 15% service charge, and then they say a tip is optional. And I think they do that because I mentioned that Hawaii is the United States of Asia, and in Asian countries they don't really tip, and so they get a lot of Asian tourists that come there that aren't used to tipping, and so in that case they add the service charge to just make it not confusing for people. Daniel says, Singapore is my family's favorite holiday location. We go every year and we researched our first trip by watching your videos. Well, Daniel, that's really awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Thanks for watching, and you get a like. And Norma says, thanks for all the info. Like. And Joshua says, Tahiti's only 2 hours further. So if you're in Hawaii, you can check out Tahiti too. All right, well, that brings us to 45 minutes. Again, I would like to really thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate the thanks that making the videos. I appreciate you guys watching them. I appreciate the comments because that's honestly what makes watching these videos worthwhile. You know, if you're a new watcher to this and you're not a subscriber, then please do thinking about hitting the subscribe button below. Or if you've got friends that you think would love to benefit from these videos, I would love new subscribers as well. So please share this video if you've got friends that are going to Oahu or Maui. And Ozzy, thank you very much. I appreciate the comment on thoroughness and insight. I love to try and be informative in the videos, and that's one of my goals. I try to share the things that I don't know. Landscaper Ben, thanks very much. I appreciate that I'm interesting, and pleasure to chat. My plan is to do another one of these live videos next week at exactly the same time. So that'll be Monday, March 27th at 8:30 Pacific time, and my intention is to try and kind of get a regular drumbeat of these sorts of things going. I'm not sure if this is the best time, but we'll give it a try. If you're watching this later, then also please let me know if you think there's another time that's better. What I'm going to talk about next week is I'm going to talk about luggage. I'm going to talk about the luggage that I use to travel and what I think the best suitcases are for checking in and for carrying on. So, March 27th, check it out. Be there or be square. All right, bye-bye, everybody. Thank you, and aloha.